Hello everybody, I'm going to show you how to do the porosity gizmo in case you weren't able to make it to office hours today. So if you go to Buzz, make sure that you're in the second semester course and scroll down, and just to kind of show you something else too, if you click these little arrows, this kind of pops open everything that's inside the module. So if you click the little arrow, it lets you look at like all the different assignments without having to go through and click next activity, next activity. So the assignment that we are going to do today is the porosity gizmo. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. If you read the directions, it says in this mission you will learn what permeable and porous soil mean. You will need to open the Google Doc and then go to the gizmo, click on the porosity gizmo. I will put the codes to my class below. Make sure you share the doc with me and submit it on Buzz. So if you scroll down, these are the codes for the gizmo in case you haven't joined them yet. So the first thing we're going to do is click on the Google Doc, and the Google Doc is going to force us to make a copy, which we are going to go ahead and do, make a copy. And now you have your own personal copy. The next thing you need to do is you need to click share, and you need to share this Google Doc with me so that when I go to grade it on Buzz, I can open it. If you don't share it with me, I can't open it. It says access denied. So please, please, please share this Google Doc with me first. Then type in your name in the Google Doc, and then whatever date it is that you are doing this. All right. Now what we're going to do is go back to Buzz, and we're going to click on this picture, which is going to take me to the Gizmo's website. And you want to make sure that you are logged in. So you're going to click log in. And then if you've already joined my class, up here you should have something, yours looks a little different than mine, but up here you should have something that says my classes, and you should be enrolled in one of these. So either Montunis 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Once you click on the class, you'll see that you have some assignments here. So you want to open the porosity gizmo and you want to launch it. All right, and now we're ready to get started. So if I go back to the gizmo, it says permeability describes how easily a liquid passes through a material. So this means that if I pour the liquid onto this certain material, the liquid is just going to go right through down to the bottom. So number 1, gather data. Surface water pools on top of sediments. Surface water can indicate that sediments are saturated or full of water, or that the sediments are not very permeable. Release 100 ml of water into the gravel beaker and press off. Record the approximate amount of surface water you see just after you press off. Repeat the same procedure for the sand and silt. So if I go back to the gizmo, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to click on, and then I'm going to try to click off right at the 300 mark. This is going to be hard. Right there. And surface water 0. So I can go here, and I'm going to type 0. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the sand. So I'm going to click on, and I'm going to try to time it just right, and I can see this number is changing pretty fast. Oops, and I went too far, but it was about 60 when I hit the off button. So on my Google Doc, I'm going to type in 60, and then next I'm going to do the silt. So I'm going to go ahead and click on, and right around the 300 mark, 80-ish. All right, so I'm going to type in 80. All right, so then based on your data, which is the most permeable sediment? So which one had the least amount of surface water? That's what I would type in here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. Now, porosity. Porosity describes how much liquid can be stored in the material. Think about a sponge. A sponge is very porous. If I pour water on a sponge, it's going to soak up all that water. If I pour water into a stainless steel pan, it's not going to soak up any of that water because it's not porous. So let's look at the directions. Release 400 milliliters of water into each sediment. Wait until each sediment is fully saturated with water. Surface water stops changing. Record the amount of surface water in the first row of the table. All right, so go back to the gizmo. I'm going to reset all of these. And I'm going to press on all 3 of them. And I'm going to wait until all that water has been released. 285, 298, and this one is still going. Still got some time here. It's still changing, so I want to wait until it's completely done. Okay, so now what I can do is record these numbers in the table. So I have 285, 298, and 241. So the first one is 285, 298 for the sand, and 241 for the silt. Now, to find the water in the sediment, it says subtract the surface water from the original volume of 400. So I want to do 400 minus 285. So 400 minus 285, that is 115. And then I would do the same thing for the sand. I would do 400 minus 298. And then over here, I would do 400 minus 241. Okay, the next step says calculate the percent. So to do this, divide the volume of water in the sediment by the sediment volume and then multiply by 100. Add this data to the last row of the table. So water in the sediment is 115. So this is the number I'm going to be using. So 115, I'm just going to go ahead and highlight that number just so we can really see what we're working with here. So 115, and then I'm going to divide that by the 400. So you can open a calculator for this too. So you do 115 divided by 400 and then multiply it by 100 to get your final answer. And when I do that, I get 28.75. And I can just show you kind of what that looks like. If I open a calculator on Google and I type in 115 divided by 400, that gives me 0.2875, and I'm going to multiply that by 100, so that means I'm just moving the decimal 2 places to the right. So times 100, you're basically changing a fraction, or sorry, a fraction to a decimal to a percent. 28.75. Okay, so that is my answer, 28.75%. You'll do the same thing over here, except your numbers are going to be a little different. So that 400 minus 298, what is that, 102? So on this one, you're going to be doing 102 divided by 400 and then times 100. Over here, same kind of thing. You'll do the 400 minus 241, take that answer and divide it by 400 and then multiply it by 100. The last two questions are asking, so which is the most porous sediment? That's going to be the one that has the highest percent. And then the least, that's going to be the lowest percent. Okay? And that is the Porosity Gizmo. The last thing that you have to do when you're done is just double check and make sure you shared it with me. Then go back to your science class, scroll down all the way down. You'll have a plus sign right here that says you have a plus sign and a submit my work. Hit the plus sign, hit choose Google Doc, click on the Porosity Gizmo Google Doc that you just made a copy of, and then hit submit. You can also just take your link right here, copy the link, and then paste that link right here in the comments. Either way works. And that is all. So that's how you do the Porosity Gizmo. Bye, guys.